Hello, everyone. Welcome to the News Browse News broadcast. According to Shin Yunet, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth declared on Tuesday that the coming days would be decisive for the ongoing U.S.-Israeli war with Iran. Speaking at a Pentagon briefing, Hegseth acknowledged Iran's capacity for retaliation despite weeks of extensive U.S.-Israeli attacks, yet asserted that Tehran's military capabilities had been crippled. He downplayed Iran's potential responses, suggesting any missile launches would be intercepted. Hegseth, who recently visited U.S. forces in the Middle East, declined to rule out sending U.S. ground troops to Iran, emphasizing a need for unpredictability. Dan Kane, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, added that current U.S. airstrikes are targeting Iran's logistical and supply chains for missile, drone, and naval shipbuilding facilities. Kane also revealed that B-52 bomber missions have commenced over Iranian land territory for the first time, implying significant degradation of Iran's air defenses. Ukrainian drones have once again targeted a vital Russian oil export hub, the Ust-Luga port on the Baltic Sea, resulting in new fires and injuries, including 2 children, UPI reports. This latest assault is part of an ongoing series of attacks over the past week on Russia's energy infrastructure. Ukraine's drone commander, Robert Brovdy, stated the operation aims to demilitarize Russia's oil arteries, refining capacity, and crude export infrastructure. Earlier strikes damaged Ust-Luga, the Primorsk oil terminal, and the Kirishi refinery, which produces fuel for Russian armed forces. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has indicated that these attacks will continue unless Moscow ceases its own assaults on Ukraine's power infrastructure, implicitly rejecting Western allies' request to scale back to avoid further disrupting global energy supplies. The campaign directly opposes a recent U.S. Treasury license designed to boost global oil supply. Al Jazeera reports that Israeli-U.S. strikes have targeted a major pharmaceutical company in Tehran, responsible for producing anesthetics and cancer drugs, according to the Iranian government. Separate attacks were also reported on a Shia religious site in Zanjan. Iran identified the hit company as Tafi Daru Research and Engineering Company, stating its drug production line was damaged. Iran's former foreign minister, Javad Zarif, condemned the targeting of a medical facility by desperate aggressors. In Zanjan, rescue operations retrieved 2 people from rubble after a strike, while 1 person was killed and 8 injured in Kermanshah province following attacks on a civilian contracting company. Heavy bombing was also reported in Isfahan, a key hub for Iran's defense industry with nuclear facilities. Al Jazeera's Tawhid Asadi reported pro-state demonstrations in Tehran, expressing anger over the ongoing U.S.-Israeli attacks. Diplomatic negotiations for a resolution stalled after U.S. President Donald Trump's extremely maximalist and unreasonable 15-point plan. The conflict has resulted in at least 1,937 deaths in Iran and 20 in Israel since February 28. The IRGC claimed striking an Israeli container ship and U.S. Marines. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth acknowledged ongoing communication and progress in talks, with U.S. war objectives expected to be achieved in weeks, not months. Al Jazeera reports that Pakistan is actively leading diplomatic efforts to mediate a peace agreement between the United States and Iran, following a month of escalating conflict in the Middle East. Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Mohammad Ishaq Dar recently visited China to engage Beijing in these mediation efforts, seeking its potential involvement beyond mere rhetorical support. This trip follows a quadrilateral meeting, hosted by Islamabad, with foreign ministers from Turkey, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia, aimed at pushing for negotiations. China has expressed support for Pakistan's initiatives, which include principles like an immediate ceasefire and maritime security. Analysts, however, offer mixed perspectives on China's willingness to act as a direct guarantor. Some believe Beijing is well-positioned and motivated by its own energy security and Bari investments to stabilize the region. Others are more cautious, suggesting China might prefer a more pragmatic, less direct role, assessing the situation carefully. The ongoing conflict has severely disrupted the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway for global oil and gas supplies, significantly impacting China's economy. Future meetings between U.S. and Chinese leaders may provide further insight into a potential broader alignment on this critical issue. According to Al Jazeera, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has issued a warning that the upcoming days in the ongoing conflict with Iran are expected to be decisive. Hegseth further asserted that Tehran's military options are now severely limited, suggesting a critical turning point in the war. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.